Hey y'all, Pepper Guy here. Appreciate y'all joining me. So today is probably my favorite time of the year. I'm starting my hydroponics kit. It's a good time watching these plants grow because man they just grow a whole lot faster in hydroponics than they do in soil. And I'm actually doing this really early so that I can get some seed in time to plant outside in the summer. So I figured the only way to go about it is to do it hydroponically. So anyways, this year I'm going to be coming up, or I came up with a new container here. I've not seen anybody do this, so I'm pretty excited about it. Just any old can. I've got a bunch of different sizes, 15 ounces, 19 ounces, and the regular 12s. Obviously, the bigger can you have, the bigger container you have, the bigger the plant will get. We don't want them getting too big, so that's why I like using these small. These small cans work for me. Um, Cans work really well because they won't let any light in. If you cover up the top, which we'll get into that later, but no light will get into the sides. They're pretty sturdy, especially when filled with the hydroponic nutrients. And yeah, I'm just going to show you how to do it. It's really simple. I've just got a drill here with a 2-inch hole saw. You can get these pretty much anywhere. Um, and yeah, I'll just go ahead and show you what it's going to take, or I'll show you what it looks like. So the good thing about the cans is that the tops are just a hair over 2 inches, and this is a 2-inch hole saw, so it's perfect. It fits just right in there. You've still got that strong lip on the top to fit a net cut. And so I'll first go ahead and cut one of these cans, just show you how simple it is. Also, the one thing you need to pay attention. Go ahead and take the tab off, and you can get either some pliers or something, but rip this rip that little tab off in the middle. You'll see why in a little bit. Don't cut yourself. I'm sure it's pretty simple to cut yourself on this. It's pretty sharp aluminum. But yeah, you just get that little bit of aluminum out of the way so that your drill bit doesn't make contact with it. Just like that. And then get a drill. Get a drill and put it on reverse. Yeah, reverse, because these teeth here are really, they're pretty sharp, and they'll cut into this, and then it'll snatch the can right out of your hand. So the best thing to do is just put it in reverse, so the teeth are going the opposite direction, so that they don't really cut into it, but they can slowly bore into it, which is what we're going to do here. So it's pretty simple. You don't really have to. I don't have to tell you exactly where to go. You just go right in the middle, and just do it slowly. Slide down the can a little bit. It's probably more safe. Yeah, that one took a little more than my last one that I did, but anyways, I got through it. You're gonna have a little metal shavings. Might be best to do this somewhere else. Yeah, something you might also want to do, just because this is aluminum, get a little sandpaper and sand the inside edge. That way you don't have any sharp edge cutting you. But that's all it takes. And I mean, I know that seems like a bit of work to do, but I mean, once you have one of these, I will have this for years, and I can just keep using it and using it. Um, and these just fit right over top. It's just perfect. So I can't wait to use these this year. But so that was one. I'm going to go ahead and do these other three. All right. So we got through them. Yeah, that first can was it was much. I don't know. this is just much thicker and tougher. It took a bit to cut through it. But yeah, what you want to do is just get a little sandpaper. This is what, 220 grit, and just sand the inside just a little bit so you get any of those burrs off of it, so you don't cut yourself at all. Yeah, that's perfect. And yep, I'll go ahead and do the rest. And once I'm done sanding them, clean them out real good, and that's it. You'll have a nice clean container to work with. All right, so that's it. They're nice and clean. Now, next thing we should probably do is add the nutrient solution. And I made a previous video on how to mix this up, so be sure to check that out. When starting out, you want the water level to be just right about at the base of the net. So just pour it just about right at the base. You don't want to cover it up past the net, because you can drown your plants. They need oxygen just like we do, but they take it in through their roots, whereas they get all the CO2 from their leaves. So yeah, if you can just pour it up here, right? You see where the net cup is. That's perfect. And let's see. I'll go ahead and do that with the rest of these. All right. Okay. So we got the nutrients in there. So now what we're going to do, we've only got 5 plants, so we've got 6 here. I'm going to wait for this little one here to grow a little bit more before we remove it. But so next thing we can do is, let's go ahead and take these plants out. Be very careful. A spoon or a knife or something like that works really well. You just want to dig around it, dig deep enough. You don't want to damage these roots. These are, you can probably damage a little bit. You don't want to though. So let's see, break off some of this. Okay. So now just rinse it off with a little bit of water. Let's see. Not doing too much. Okay. A little bit of dirt's totally fine. So you've got about, let's see, this looks like about, I don't know, 1.5 inches of root, maybe 1 inch of root, which is not as much as I would really like. So let's see. I went ahead and opened one of these. I'll back off a little. Went ahead and opened one of these rock-wool cubes. So yeah, it's not quite long enough. We can make it work. Keep this, keep the rock-wool cube wet until some roots start popping out the bottom. But yeah, again, it is better. I possibly should have let it grow up a little more so that roots were like hanging out down to here. But I know this will be fine, especially if you keep it moist for a couple days. The roots will start growing out the bottom of it. So all you got to do with this now, just put it right in there. Oh, and also it's a good thing to label. So these first 3 are going to be Syntakas. So go ahead and just push it right in there. push it down a little bit so that it's, you know, pretty much near the bottom. And then what you really want to do, I bought these little rocks at Dollar Tree. It's nice to just cover them up. Put a few of these around the top, and it's not for looks really as much as it might look kind of pleasing, I guess, with these, but it's more so to stop light from getting in the getting in the nutrient solution, which when that happens, it will actually form algae, and that's not great. So that's it. I know it's barely in there, but this right here, you'll be surprised at how fast that will grow. Now again, what you should probably be doing each day is checking and make sure that the root does protrude out the bottom. So you want that root to pop out, and you want it to be under the nutrient solution. So I think these jalapenos here, these tall ones, I think these are going to have plenty long enough roots. We'll see here in a minute. But yeah, that's really it. Some people can, if they let this go and don't pay attention to it, unless that root gets to touching the actual nutrient solution, it could eventually just die and not have enough water and just wither and die. You don't want that, obviously. So just each day, I would just put wet that cube just a little bit, pour just a tiny bit to make sure that it's wet, and yeah, that's really it. They will really take off. All right. So that was a Santaka. I think we'll do a Santaka in here. I didn't pour any nutrients in there. And maybe it's not the worst thing to have it a little bit higher than there, especially if the roots aren't long enough. But again, I think the roots of these jalapenos will be. But let's go ahead and pick out this second plant. But yeah, look at that. That's, yeah, 2.5 inches or so of roots, which is more than enough. So now you definitely don't need to have too much. I'm going to pour just a tad bit of that nutrients out. Let's see, I'll show you what's going on. All right, so there we go. All right, and what we're gonna do with this, I just got a rock wool cube like the last one. I just broke it in half and sit it right in there. You see this purple? Get the purple just right about where the purple and the white meets. Just close it up right there. And see how this root just hangs out the bottom? Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, good 1.5 inches sticking out the bottom. So what you want to do is put it in this cup. You want to fish it down through there and be really careful not to damage that root. This might take a second or two. You might have to get like a let's see, get a toothpick or something. So you just want to make sure that this root pokes out the bottom. Let's see. Maybe I'll do it first and then show you. Okay. All right. You see that? We got a good, and you do want to push it down just a little. Get it down a little bit. Okay. So that you can put those rocks in there so they don't fall out the edge. But look at that. That's, you got a good inch out the bottom there. And if you have that much root, maybe get the nutrient solution about up to here. Let's see. This first time is going to take the most time. Every time you're going to fill it up from here on out, it's not going to take all this because you're going to have roots. Well, that's it really. You're going to have roots, you know, all the way to the bottom of the can. So you're not going to have to worry about how deep or how far the nutrient solution is down. You'll be able to eventually kind of eye it and, you know, get a good idea. But we'll add a few more rocks here. I've seen some people not even do this, and that's fine too. You'll just have, you'll definitely have some algal growth, and that can just kind of offset your nutrients, your pH. It can, you just, it's better not to have that. So cover up as much light going into the bottom as possible. These rocks were just what they had. You can use whatever, but that's it. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and yep, I'll get back to you in a minute. All right. So that's about got them. Again, I'm going to wait. These actually may be ready. I may just get those, knock those out as well. Yeah, just cover them up best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Typically, no matter what you do, there is going to be a little bit of algae. The less amount of nutrients you use, though, the less chance there is of algal growth. So, if you want to half up the nutrient solution at this point, you can. So put, you know, in a half a gallon, put 1/4 of a teaspoon. That's fine too. And then as they really start growing, you know, you can move up to a tablespoon or 1 teaspoon per gallon. But that's it. I'm going to go ahead and do this last one here in a minute. But that's it. We'll show you what this looks like in a week. And I appreciate y'all joining me. Just please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below with any questions. Or if you have any, you know, any comments about these cans or using cans, or if anybody has done it, let me know. All right. That's it. Appreciate it. See you next time.